Well, it's been a busy few days working on a bunch of random stuff. You guys saw that towing test we did with the 3 Duramaxes. And one thing I need to address is the mud on this 2009. Jeez, oh man, this thing was spotless. Still have very nice shine to it, but this thing got pretty muddy in the driveway when we were loading the Badillac up, so got to do something about this. And I figured once we address all this mud and nastiness on this thing, we can address keeping this thing in good condition for the long term. So had a couple of you guys ask if we were going to do any sort of rust proofing on this, and the answer is yes. So I don't know if I'm still keeping this or not, but I have a product that I really like and have used in the past that has worked really good as far as I'm concerned, and I just want to hit it with this stuff. So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and once it's washed up, cleaned up, all the mud's off of it, we're going to do a little rust proofing on this thing. So I'm going to show you guys a couple products that you can use that I think work pretty well, the technique I'm going to use, and also some areas that get overlooked on these trucks, and main reason why they rust out. So we'll get this thing pulled out, take a look at it. All right, guys, got the truck outside. As you can see, we already looked at this, ton of mud on the inside of the wheel wells. Truck overall is not bad, but as clean as this thing was before, I want to get it back to looking like that, get rid of all this mud nastiness. So we're gonna fire up the power washer and get this thing shined up. But I wanted to show you guys a critical area that's often overlooked on these trucks. So pretty much any one of these you see, especially up here in the rust belt, the boxes are rotted out right in this area, right here. So you can see that this one's super solid. We've looked at it before. And the way to keep this thing clean, you gotta keep it clean. And it goes beyond just washing this truck. So I'm gonna show you guys, if you have one of these, what you gotta be doing to keep your box nice. Or if you're going to buy one of these, what you need to be looking at to make sure there's not some nastiness kind of covered up and hidden. So we're gonna drop the tailgate on this thing. We're gonna pop the taillights out, and then we'll have direct access to look at the inside of the bed. So you might think you can just stick your hose nozzle up here and get everything cleaned out, but that is actually not the area that, well, that's not like the bed. There's a gap in there. So we gotta be cleaning this stuff out and from the inside and making sure that nothing's staying in there. So you can see there's plugs here. You could also go through the plugs, but taking out the tail light's kind of easier and allows you to get a better stream in there. So I'm gonna pop those out real quick. All right, power washer's hooked up, tail lights are out, both sides. It's gonna be difficult to see in here, guys. Poor lighting. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother trying to show you because it's so hard to see in there. Yeah, but it's clean. I can see in there, no rust, super happy about that. But it is kind of dirty. You can see how this accumulation of nastiness can build up over time, and if not addressed, can lead to corrosion issues, especially over there where there's some, essentially metal overlapping metal. So we're gonna wash this out super good, and there's a couple other spots. Maybe some guys won't like this, but this is what I'm gonna do. So there's these plugs in the rocker panels. I'm gonna pop these out and do the best I can to rinse out in here. I've got a little inspection camera. After this is all dried up, I think I'll show you guys what it looks like on the inside here. But I'm gonna pop all these plugs out. I think there's 4 total, maybe more, but there's 2 in the side here. 1 up front, and then 2, I believe, underneath. Or 1, 2, 3 total. So once we get this cleaned up, I'll be able to show you the products that we're gonna be using to protect that whole area. So, but for now, let's rinse out the bed on this thing. I'm using this big wand to be able to stick it in there, get it nice and far. Don't take that the wrong way. We're gonna get rid of all this dirt and stuff. Make sure we get everything rinsed out inside the bed that we can. So I got the driver's side all done. Gonna repeat the same procedure on the passenger side. And then we'll move up to the cab and pull out those rocker plugs and rinse those out. All right, with the bed all rinsed out, we're gonna move on to the cab section. So here are the plugs I was talking about in the rocker. So I'm gonna pop these out. I'm gonna use low pressure water in this to flush it out because it's gonna be a lot easier to just maneuver the hose into there and get the water out, or water into here, than it would be using like a hard nozzle. So ideally, if there was like a 360-degree small diameter hose you could put in there and rinse it out, that'd be best, but we don't really have access to that. And then over here on the doors, we're gonna use the power washer to get under this lip here and rinse all this dirt and nastiness out of there. And then once those two sections are cleaned up, we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we just really have up here, nothing too crazy here. We have this plastic inner liner. So when it comes to using our protective coating that I'm going to show you, we'll probably drop this wheel well liner down a little bit. And this unfortunately had some holes in it from where they had those stupid chrome things. So we're going to be using our protectant in those areas as well because there's some exposed metal. So I'm going to show you the cab though. This is no big deal. We're just going to rinse this out when we get to washing the truck, and it'll clean up pretty nice. So now there are drains in the bottom of these doors for water to get out. So a big thing is to always make sure these drains are kept clear and don't get plugged up. If they do plug up, then there's just a bunch of moisture in there trapped. So we don't want that. So we're just going to get under here with this, spray it out, make sure everything's flowing good. All right, we've done the power washing on the bottom of the doors, got all that nastiness out of there. We'll probably wipe that down and wipe down the tailgate too, that bottom lip, just to make sure that all the dirt and nastiness is out of there, maybe even blow it out with some compressed air. But let's take a look at these rocker plugs here, show you what I'm going to do with the hose. So there's one rocker plug, and there you can kind of see one on the bottom there. There's one here, there, and then one kind of in the front. So we're just going to run some water through here, basically. All right, I think this thing's gonna have a fair amount of volume, so I'm gonna try and keep it clean. Get that hose in there. Now, we're certainly not gonna get everything out, but you can see there's a fair amount of water draining. Obviously, on the sides here, probably not getting all of that clean, but it's better than nothing, I feel. We're gonna hit that hole on the bottom of the rocker now. Also, this kind of sketchy. It'd probably work better if I had a, actual nozzle on this. Oh my gosh. Move on to the front. Simple as that. So I'm gonna get the rockers on the other side now. This is like a multi-day project for me, so I'm gonna let everything dry out for probably a day, and then we'll get it on the lift and apply the protective coating that we're gonna use. So head over to the other side, do the rockers, then give this thing a wash, make sure it's looking nice. I also got another attachment I'm gonna show you guys quick for your power washer. That's very valuable if you live in the Rust Belt. So let me get that other side, and then I'll show you that attachment. One bad thing about doing this in the dirt is we've accumulated a large amount of mud underneath the truck. So I'm gonna finish this up tomorrow with the wash. I'm just gonna let it hang out here overnight, and we'll address this tomorrow, get the body washed, and then we'll get it on the lift. All right, it's the next day. Absolutely beautiful out here. It feels like it's 60-some degrees. I think it's in the 50s, but it feels awesome out here. So I'm gonna finish up washing the truck, or get to washing the truck, I should say, but I did wanna show you guys this tool that if you live up here in the Rust Belt and you got a power washer, I feel like you need this. It's very simple and works great. I've been using it for years. So we got the power washer there. This attachment here is a game changer. So this goes on the end of, where'd the wand go? Right here. I don't know if I can do this one-handed, probably not. All right, it's hooked up. So this is like an underbody blast attachment for a power washer. It works extremely well. So it's on wheels, obviously. You just get the power washer going, feed it underneath the truck. It cleans everything that's underneath the truck. It comes out pretty good pressure. It's got good volume. It's got good coverage. So I typically just make 2 passes on each side, and it does a really good job of getting all that nastiness and crud underneath there. So I'm gonna do this first, and then I'll wash the body, and then we'll be ready to get this thing on the lift and do some spraying. I'll give you a little demo of this thing in action. Works pretty good, honestly. Like I said, I've had this for a couple years now. Just gotta saturate it super good. Rinse everything out of there. Keep this thing super nice. Guys, this unit is back and cleaned up, looking good. So we're gonna get it pulled over on the other side and get it up on the lift, get ready to rust proof this unit. Pretty neat. Excited to look under it too. Haven't really been under this thing. Well, it is the next day. Put the truck up on the lift yesterday, and I got to peek underneath this thing, guys. It's even nicer than I thought. I'm using my super custom broken shop light. Works pretty good, honestly, for this. But look at how solid these inner rockers are, and look how good of a job our spray attachment did it, getting this clean underneath here. So there's a little bit of dirt yet, but for the most part, pretty clean. So you can see here, I pulled a couple more plugs out of the inner rockers. We've got a bunch of different access points to spray our rust proofing spray in there. And let's go take a look at that right now. I'll show you that. But the other side is just as nice. I don't have the light set up over here, but it's just so solid. You just don't see that around here. So the product we're going to be using today, AmsOil Metal Protector, HD, heavy duty metal protector. So I had a 2016 Sierra half ton that I leased brand new, and I applied this stuff to it when I got it, when it was new, because I thought I might want to buy the truck at the end of the lease. I didn't end up doing that, but even 3 years after I got the truck, that stuff still held up extremely well. So this stuff dries to have like a waxy, semi-hard film. It's not really like liquidy. You can't just wipe it off with your finger. It kind of dries up, which I like. And like I said, I know for 3 years that stuff held up on that other truck I had. So haven't really used it since then. A lot of the times what happens is I found that winter ends and nice weather comes out, kind of like today. It's 65 degrees outside, end of February, really like that. And you just kind of neglect your truck. And I think that's how these things rust out. People just get excited about the nice weather and forget the truck. So we're not doing that to the 09 though. This thing is going to be sprayed down, and we're going to make this thing last, hopefully for whoever picks it up, or maybe us if we keep it here. This Metal Protector HD, it comes with a little tip on it, but I've used another product as well that I'll be showing you. So it's these 360 degree spray nozzles that replace the factory cap on top of that. So I'll post a link to these that you can pick some up at, but you can kind of see at the end of the tip here, if my camera will focus, there's a few different holes that will allow that aerosol to just spray out and get a ton of coverage on the inside of those rockers. So that's going to be extremely important to filling the inside of those rockers up. So key areas we're going to be spraying this stuff at is going to be the tailgate, specifically the bottom lip of the tailgate, the box sides, specifically the kind of the wheel wells on the inside where we had rinsed everything out, sprayed everything out, the inner rockers, and the exterior surface of the rockers that we're going to be able to see. Probably do the hood, and then also the front fenders, because like I said, we had those stupid chrome moldings on there that we took off. There's some holes there now, and I want to get some of that metal protector in there to kind of seal that stuff up. So I'm going to first start with the inner rockers, I think, since we got it up in the air, and we'll get to test out that 360 degree nozzle and see how she goes. So before we start spraying, I did want to show you guys the inner rockers on this again. Super solid out here. Looks very good, better than any Michigan truck you're going to find. And even if you take a quick glance in there where one of these plugs were, it looks good. But you can kind of see, if I tilt the camera a little bit, I might try and get my inspection camera in here and show you a little bit better. You can see there's a little bit of surface rust in there forming. So that's what we want to eliminate, is that stuff from getting any worse. So I reached my finger in there. It's still super solid metal. A little bit of surface rust is, that stuff doesn't get better by itself. So we're going to spray some stuff in there and make it good. so it's kind of hard to see, but if you guys don't have one of these inspection cameras, there's a ton of different brands out there. You should pick one up. They're pretty affordable. They can help with a ton of engine-related stuff and even stuff like this. So I've got this inspection camera in here, and you guys saw the side of the rocker was pretty good. Here's kind of that surface rust I was talking about. It's still all very solid, and the camera almost makes it look worse than it is, but it, yeah, we don't want that to get any worse. So we're going to light that up with some of that AmsOil Metal Protector, and we could. So I bought 3 cans of that stuff. It was about 50 bucks for the 3 cans, and then these spray nozzles came in a pack of 4. They're 19 inches long. I think they were like $8, so super cheap. I don't think I'm gonna need more than 3 cans, but if so, local store had these readily available, so it wasn't a big deal. But I'm gonna try and time lapse this for you guys. I'm gonna try and position this in a way that captures the video, obviously, but also doesn't ruin my phone. So I need to source some rubber gloves for this stuff, and we're just gonna hit this. So guys, I'm going to be honest, the spray nozzles I bought didn't work the best. They didn't seem to seal up on the tip of the can the best, so had a lot of overflowage onto me, onto my shoes, onto the ground. You'll probably see that. I'm just going to go under here and show you kind of how everything's looking. Oh, I didn't wipe this off. Well, at least my camera lens shouldn't rust, so let's take a look under here, see how this looks though. Yeah, that's brutal, a lot of overflowage. The rockers, you can kind of see this film, looks very good. So they recommend this to sit for at least 2 hours, says it fully cures in like 12, so this doesn't need to go anywhere, so we're just gonna leave it on the lift. But we got all this stuff done. You can see the product is flowing out of these openings here, which I think is pretty important, so that's good. And we still got to go up and do the holes that are on the inside of the truck with the doors open. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to let the truck down a little bit. So pretty happy. If you notice, you can kind of see it's dripping out of this one that we didn't even spray into yet. So that stuff made its way around with that 360-degree nozzle. Very happy about that. I'm just going to spray some more in there. Make sure it gets all the way down, running out. Looks like it is, but I might have to go run and get a couple more cans just to do a good job on this. We also got to spray bottom of the doors, inside of here, where that lip is at. I might pop this whole thing out. I've got a trim tool. We might just do that, make it a little bit easier. So we got 4 doors worth of that. I'm gonna spray these and then do the other side, and we'll move on to the bed. All right, so with that piece of weather stripping removed, we got a bunch of holes we can spray into super easily. And that plug, we can take that out and spray in there too. We're gonna get this thing all nice and soaked with that metal protector. Solid truck though, no bubbles down here, nothing. What a beauty. So I'm doing the rear door on the other side, and you guys might remember how I said it's important to clean that out, keep it flushed out so it doesn't plug up with anything, so it doesn't trap moisture. Well, I popped off our weather strip and popped off our 2 caps here, and it's filled with broken glass. And you can see it's still super wet in there because, well, it hasn't really been able to drain, and that stuff's just holding moisture. Now, we don't have any rust here, so that's good. We caught it in time probably, but I don't know how I'm gonna get that glass out. Try some compressed air and just do the best I can, because I mean it's down the whole length of the door, so I don't know if a window got busted out of this thing or what, but we've gone this far, just figured to do it the right way. Pulled the door panel off, and this gave us easy access to spray the aerosol down into that big crack there. I also hit it at the bottom like I did the other side, just to be safe. But there was a ton of glass in here. I spent probably 20 minutes trying to clean that out between compressed air and the vacuum. So I think it should be pretty good. I think leaving that probably would have been detrimental and would cause some long-term issues with this thing rusting. So glad we got that figured out. All right, guys, we're moving on to the bed in this thing. So take a look at the plugs I pulled out. I've got the tail lights out, but this is primarily going to be for spraying in this area. You can see a little bit of surface rust here. We're going to cover that up, protect it. Some dirt I missed down there. That's a bummer. Have to clean that up, but take it easy, light. Jeez. We're going to spray in here, and then we've got 3 plugs out. You can kind of see around here. 1, 2, 3, actually 4 of them. So we're gonna spray in there with our 360 nozzle, and then up in this lip, we'll just saturate this area, and we should be pretty good. All right, guys, next day, gonna hit the inside of this box lip real quick. I still need to get the 360-degree nozzle and get inside the pockets, or the flush holes, whatever those things are called. We're just gonna load this sucker up. Ain't no big deal, that stuff will clean up. All right, guys, doing the tailgate now. So pop this little access cover off, and I've already hooked up the 360-degree nozzle to this thing, which is working better now that the can's a little bit empty. It wasn't puking all over the top, so that's cool. All I did is I did the exterior parts right here, and then I put the nozzle in this hole and basically shoved it in there as far as it would go. And then I popped this centerpiece off just to kind of see if the protectant was going to make its way or all the way down there. Because, I mean, this is obviously much longer than the 19 inches, and it's wicked its way all through the inside there, if you take a look. So that's cool. That's an important area for it to be in. We got that. I'm going to shoot it probably from this side. We'll be done with the tailgate. I can put the other screws back in the tail lights. Yeah, the bed's done. Pretty much just got to do the front fenders and the hood. This thing's done. So this stuff's super easy to use. I would just definitely advise wearing gloves, wearing long sleeves. Yesterday when I was doing it, I obviously had a shirt on and I left my watch on. I should probably take my watch off, and I made a giant mess. So you really need paint thinner to take this stuff off. Like, it's not going to come off with soap or anything like that. Like, you need something pretty aggressive to get rid of this stuff. So that's good for the truck. Obviously, you don't want just water and grime and stuff rinsing it away. Like I said, big fan of this stuff. Just wear long sleeves, don't wear a watch, and protect your hands. But it sprays on super good. It covers pretty decent when it's not puking out of the can with this nozzle. Maybe it chose to not do that today, which I'm okay with. But I'm going to wrap this thing up and be good to go. All right, guys, last time for you to see the 360-degree sprayer in action. Probably should have got this truck detailed after doing this, but, you know, live and learn. All right, we're going to do this door. We got to take this piece of trim off. You guys kind of saw that before. Weather stripping, trim, whatever you want to call it. Pretty good shape there. We'll just wipe it off with a towel. We got 2 plugs we got to pop out here. I see some of the paint is a little chipped off on this one. So it's a good thing we're addressing this. I'm not going to use the 360-degree sprayer. I'm just going to use standard nozzle on this one. And just going to shoot that way and pay attention for when I can see the stream. And it starts running out. So I've got to get that out of the way before that gets dripped on. We're just going to let these 2 front doors kind of dry up and let her drip. And then once they're dried up, we'll put those pieces of weather stripping back on. So that's it for the rust-proof job on the 09. Pretty straightforward deal. Anybody can do this at their house. Again, it's kind of messy, so I don't really advise doing it or spraying the metal protector on your driveway. Maybe wash the truck on your driveway and then go into some grass or something, some gravel, somewhere where you don't got to worry about cleaning up a big mess. But that AmsOil Metal Protector HD, good stuff. I like the film. You can see it here on the can. This stuff, I like the film. It's holds up pretty good. Like I said, had another truck I did this on. Lasted 3 years when I got rid of it. It was still pretty similar to when I put it on the only application. So check that stuff out. If you got a truck like this or any truck, try and keep it clean. Try and get rid of that salt and all the nastiness that builds up in the box sides, cab corners, rockers. Wash that stuff out. Take care of your stuff. Be diligent. It might take some time. In the long run, it'll save you money. So appreciate your guys' support in this matter. If you're not following me on Facebook and Instagram and you have those pieces of technology, hop on over there. Done some good stuff there recently. A lot of fun things happening in the world right now. So pay attention to that. That's pretty interesting. I'll just say that and move on. So we got the Battle Act coming in here tomorrow. It's getting some new parts on that. A lot of fun stuff coming up. Like I said before, we're going down to Cletus and Cars at the beginning of April, and then right after that, we're going to Crossbar Ranch with the side-by-sides. Side-by-side USA Spring Hoedown. Great event. Hope to see you guys out at both of those. And yeah, appreciate your support in this matter. Hoping to bring you some more exciting stuff soon. Remember, this thing's still for sale if you guys want it. So again, appreciate your support in this matter, and we'll see you in a couple days.